there, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Talking with the Experts. We have another expert of a different kind. I'd like to welcome Liza Freya.
Yes.
Freya.
Freya when it's posh.
Welcome to the desk.
Thank you.
We've been wanting to do this for some time now.
Thanks for having me.
So Liza is one of the extraordinary ladies that comes to the clinic that I've been treating scar tissue and also exercising with.
Yep.
And so today's discussion, Liza is the expert on survivorship.
Thank you.
And thrivorship.
yeah.
I'd rather thrivorship
than
survivorship.
Me too.
And so it's Liza and I always have such amazing conversations when you come in, and I just love the perspective. You know, it's a different side.
Yep.
You know, I'm sitting on the other side of cancer rehab.
Yeah.
And certainly I'll never say that I understand what you're going through because I actually haven't been in your shoes. But to get your perspective is really valuable. So that's why I wanted to bring you onto the panel, the desk.
Yes, thank you.
So, Liza, tell us about your going back. So you're 2 years cancer-free.
Yes, yeah. So in 2018, I'd had a lovely holiday in Bali with girlfriends and my husband, and came back and thought, well, it's time to have my yearly mammogram and ultrasound. Nothing was, didn't seem anything different at the appointment. They just did the ultrasound and mammogram. I left. The next day, I received a phone call from my GP to say, bring your husband in, we need to have a chat. I kind of didn't still get it because I'd had, lumps in before in the past, and I'd had some out, but they weren't cancer. It was just a preventative. My breasts are very cysty, so, they used to take them out so that if anything turned, then, they were out, so I didn't have to worry about them. But I kind of felt like this was a little different because he'd called. So, went in and unfortunately, there was a tumour in my right breast, and, of course, then we had to have it biopsied and see what it was, and it came back as lobular stage 2 breast cancer. So then, it's like, the whirly when it all starts, and you're got to be scanned, and you see a lot of, meet your breast surgeon for the first time. And for me, an operation, a lumpectomy, she performed. But unfortunately, when she did it, the lump was a lot larger than what first diagnosed. So it was almost 5 centimetres.
Okay.
So chemo hadn't been talked about. And so then we had to go through the protocol of the treatment. Mm-hmm. So it was obviously surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, and then I'm on Arimidex now for 5 years.
Okay.
So,
And so you were running your own business.
Yeah,
running your own business.
Yeah, so I'm a hairdresser. I've had my own business for 18 years in a retirement village on the coast. Mm-hmm. And it's a great business. It's been really busy, but unfortunately, I had to step back. For almost 12 months, which at the time you don't think you can do. And if you think about it before you're ever diagnosed, well, there's no way because nothing can run without you. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you're not given a choice. Yeah. So my husband always has said, you save for a rainy day and you do this. And,
that was a big rainy day.
Yeah, it was a hurricane. And and then it's not like you make your appointments and go, oh, well, can't do it that day because I've got work. It's like you're doing that day, and that's just how it is. Yeah. So within 2 weeks I was in for my surgery. Okay. And the care I've received was amazing. Chemo was a bit of a shock. Yeah. I would say that. Okay. Yeah. Chemo's been my thorn in the side.
Okay. Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I think at first I didn't think I was going to have it. And then all of a sudden you're told it, but you don't know much about it. You only see what you've seen on a movie or, what you've heard. And so when you're actually going through it, you kind of just don't know where you're going to end up. And it changes your life. It changes you,
Yeah.
That's when cancer got real for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're a hairdresser.
Yep.
So you lost your beautiful hair.
Yeah. So I had really the 80s perm, long, curly hair down to here, natural, and, of course, dyed, blonde. All of a sudden, one lady I'd had the first lot of chemo, and one of the nurses at chemo said to me, within 14 days, around about day 14 is when you start to lose your hair.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay then, and day 13 I was kind of, hang on a minute, nah, it's all good, it's there.
Yeah.
And then I remember day 14, my husband came in with a cup of tea. I was feeling a bit lethargic, and he kind of, looked at me differently. And I said, what's wrong? And I had hair, all over my jammies and on my pillow. And I remember going like that, and that sick feeling. It was just, it was tough. But you put the mask on because I've got two sons, 24 and 21, and I wanted them to show that I wasn't frightened, because I didn't want anyone else to be frightened, especially in my family. So I went and had my hair cut short.
Yep.
And then the next day I'd seen all these inspirational ladies who had shaved their hair, and I kind of thought, I want to take that control and do it. So we came home from going for a drive, and I said, I got the clippers out, and I said to everybody was home, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And my husband was good, and he said, okay, I'll do it. And then my youngest, Jet, who's very unfiltered, said, oh, I can't wait, Mum, let me do it. But then I have another son that doesn't, he finds a bit difficult.
Yeah.
And he just, he couldn't watch that.
Okay.
He did sneak out at the end and pop his head round, and he just looked at me and he said, you look beautiful, Mum.
Oh.
And it was, even now I get I get a little bit emotional, because and then as I said, that's when it gets real, because you have to wear, obviously you do it number one, but it gets worse than that, because you're shiny, you're bald.
Yep.
And people then had a different look at you when they walk past you. Friends were, you could tell that they didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And, of course, everybody says you look beautiful.
Yeah.
But you look in the mirror yourself, and I didn't see beauty. I just saw a completely different person. So, I will say that, chemo was
absolutely
the hardest.
It was a game changer.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what would your advice be to women who are going to want to hang on to the last strand of hair?
Well, I went to a Look Good, Feel Good program, which was about makeup, and it was amazing. Like, the ladies were fantastic.
Yep.
But the conversation came back to hair. So I went to the Look Good, Feel Good program, which was, fantastic, and it spoke about skincare, and, they showed you how to pop your eyebrows back on, and, because eyebrows are kind of hard to, when you've not had to do them anymore. And, but the big question that was always in the conversation was hair, and there were obviously, I was in a beret, a couple of ladies were in a wig, another lady had started to get the chemo curls, and another couple of ladies were, just starting to sprout through. But, in particular, the ones that were just losing their hair, they were holding on. There was one lady, and she had just on the side of her hair, and obviously her hair was quite, long. She had a little section that was just there, and she was just holding on to it, you know. And, I know that people say that, you've got your life, and, you're lucky that, you're only losing your hair and all that sort of thing. But hair to some people is life.
Yeah.
I have people that come into my salon every week to have their hair done. I haven't had many customers that come in and have hair down to here and say, I'll have a number 2 buzz cut. That just doesn't happen. And for people to change their hairstyle takes many years and a lot of confidence. And when you're given 14 days, it's heartbreaking. And I know that people say, yeah, but it's only hair and you've still got your life and all that. But for some people, hair hides big ears, big foreheads, and some people are hidden behind hair. So I think for most people, if they're honest with themselves, hair is probably, maybe the second one from losing your breasts that people struggle with, and it hurts. It's not like it does hurt when
it's a sudden shock.
Well, physically mentally it hurts, but physically it hurts too, because when your hair's coming out, the nerves in your head, it's like it's dying type of thing. It's prickly and it's not nice to lay on, and it's very uncomfortable. And of course you put a wig on and they're hot.
Yeah.
And, for the ladies that are going through it through summer, they got like a beanie on or a hat, so it's all those, you got to make sure you have enough colours to go with, your outfits and, you can put your hair up or you can have it to the side or you can blow wave it all different, but with having no hair, you basically got one regime, and that's put a hat on or put a wig on, and so, it's difficult for some people, and I totally get that. And at first it was inspiring that I shaved my head and it was great, but over time, it got to, I used to just, one day I looked at myself and I said to my husband, I look like an emoji. I said, I've got that bald head and that smile. And I said, and I remember my jet, he put a photo up on because he's this family clown, and he put a photo of Wallace and Gromit on there and me holding my dog looking like Wallace and Gromit, so you've seen the funny side in it, but there were also a lot of times when it wasn't, it was tough. It was hard, And
did you have that conversation with your husband?
Yeah, I did. And we all, in that time frame, people think it's all about you. But honestly, family units break down and family units go through so much. I'm not the same woman my husband married, and I don't think I don't think I'm the same mum. I think my kids fear every time I have a test, every time I'm not feeling good, and I know my husband does too. And for those people that say that, after treatment, it's done, it's over, it's finished, it's not like that, because now I'm on Arimidex for 5 years, which causes its own, problems, So I would say to people that, when you are speaking to somebody that has or been through cancer, and even if it's 20 years down the track, just be careful of how you word what you're saying, because those things do sometimes hurt.
Absolutely. I know you had said that you had someone ask, when is this all going to finish?
Yeah, when will I be back to some normality? And I didn't have an answer. Because I don't think, honestly, in my heart, I'll ever be normal again. I won't be that normal, the old normal.
Yeah.
And someone like myself, I've really changed a lot. I've changed every part of my life, because for me, and this is my words, not anyone else's, my lifestyle, my work, what I ate, and how I was living life, obviously wasn't right for my body. And I believe that that's probably why I was, I got got the breast cancer, because I don't think I was serving my body the way that it should have been served, but that's my belief. And I know that if I've changed everything I can, and do as much as I can, I believe, only my belief, that hopefully I will stay cancer free. If I don't, I'll tackle it again. But I believe that, you've got to make the changes. You know.
So you weren't really what you would class as someone who indulged in exercise before cancer.
No, I think I did aerobics back in 1988, and I think I kind of only did it because everybody else was doing it. And, the leotards and the leg warmers, they were all in.
Yeah.
So I think that, I never even went for a walk, unless I had to, because I've never been fat. So I've been able to eat what I like. And let me tell you, sugar was my, have a donut, have two, love McDonald's.
Yep.
And all that sort of thing. And never ate at work, have a cup of coffee and a biscuit. And then at 4 o'clock, starving, have a packet of chips. Mm-hmm. And exercise was just something that, I never even, had been into really a gym or anything. So I decided to, have a moment where I would join a gym after when I started to feel, I had enough strength. And so, my husband and I, and actually my two boys, we all joined the gym. And I remember walking in there and I thought, like, what do I do here? Where do I start? Like, I've tagged myself in. I've got the locker correct. So where do I begin? And I kind of was like, I was trying to pick up off people what they were doing to see, but knowing how my arm is now, I was frightened that if I did something that I didn't know what I was doing, Anyway, I went for a while and then you got a little bit of a free time with a personal trainer. I thought, great, I'll get it. I'll get this.
Bit of guidance.
So a bit of guidance, and he can tell me what I can do with my arm and what I can lift and all that sort of stuff and what exercise is great. Anyway, I had the meeting with him and, I was filling in the form and he noticed that I had breast cancer and he kind of just went, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. And I went, really? And he went, no, you're a liability. I can't actually get you to do anything because I can't take that chance. And I was like embarrassed at first, but just the fact that he wasn't willing to take me on or to help me in any way. And
bit of a blow to your confidence.
Oh, absolutely. I got into the car and, basically cried all the way home when I got home and explained it all to, we'd all joined. It wasn't good. So off they went in the car to get their answers. And, they basically just said,
So your husband and Jet and Chase?
And Chase.
He went too?
I think Chase went as well. And, and they just wanted to get answers and find out, what was going on and why would they even say that, And my husband in particular, I think he was the main speaker, he just said, you have people come in here that have had probably heart attacks and knee and leg joints and, and all that sort and problems and all that. But, you can't say to people. And the other lady, the manager did say that he probably chose his words wrong, but she supported him.
Yep.
So that was kind of the end of that. So for me to even go back there and even try anything, I was like, no, I felt like a fish out of water in the first place. So I was even going to feel worse. So then I did a bit of research online to see what was available. And I did the pick and steal and I got in contact.
Yes.
I was given the opportunity to come here.
Absolutely.
And
how fortuitous.
I walked in here and I felt like, this is where it is. And I went from a person that did no exercise to doing Kath's stretch class on a Monday and then your class of a Thursday and then the Friday class, I think there was a balance class or something. So I'd stepped up 3 classes and, my family were like, are you? And I said, I'm comfortable. They get it. They get me. The people that I'm there with understand the story.
But
and
we're also trained
and know exactly that if I can't do it that way, then I'm able to do it that way. And then I wasn't in with a group of people that were looking at themselves in the mirror and trying to, I'm not being awful, but outdo each other. We are just here for the right reasons, and that is to get guidance and educated in our fitness. Now our bodies are like they are, and be welcomed. And that was the biggest thing for me. Yep.
And talking about the Pinc and Steel Next Steps program.
Yeah.
So you're doing classes with women with shared experiences.
Yeah.
How important is that connection with those other ladies?
Yeah, very, because, I've got a great network of friends, don't get me wrong, and my family are great. But they personally haven't been through it. They've had family members that have passed away and all that, which has been really quite sad, awful. But here they kind of got the ladies that I was doing it with, they kind of got the story because they'd been through it.
Yeah.
So in that way we could talk about things, and, I learnt so much more as well. Breast cancer isn't just under one hat. It's under a lot of diversities. There's a lot of treatments.
Yeah.
And so that has given me the knowledge also to know that there's so many other breast cancers out there, and, people, lose both breasts. Some get reconstruction, some don't. Some have a lumpectomy. But we've all been given that word cancer. And it doesn't matter whether you've had treatment, no treatment, it's scary. And you need to feel comfortable where you can. And here is definitely that feeling. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And great friendships.
Yes.
That's paramount of what you want,
And so this year, I think everyone's world has been topsy-turvy with COVID.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of restrictions put in place, especially around group gatherings and people training in groups. And we also wanted to make it safe as possible for everyone here by stopping the classes.
Yeah.
And going online. How important was that to stay connected and keep exercising in isolation?
Yeah, it was very important, because not only did I want to keep exercising, but my business had closed down. So I had 4 months where I hadn't worked, and being at home coming here 3 days a week was fantastic. But then all of a sudden we couldn't do that. So going online and becoming one of the being able to, one of the babes, bounce back from breast cancer was awesome. I could do it at home. I could even do it in my backyard. Like, I took the iPad out, put the things in, and off we go, and the family even joined in sometimes, you can watch it back if you miss it. But also too, the people that you have on here, you had a lady about your gut health and all that sort of stuff. That's great knowledge to know, all the things that are on the bounce back from breast cancer page and Facebook and the community. We're all still learning. And whatever we can learn about things, it just makes it so much easier. And just, being at home. You can switch it on any time. If you're having a bad day, do it in the night time.
Yep.
If you're having a bad night, just get up and you can watch, you can do a bit of exercise. But also too, if you're going through treatment, and I was only thinking about this the other day, you're laying around a lot because you don't have the energy, but you can put your iPad on even in your bed. And you can do a few leg raises, a few stretches with your arms, and that what you're doing is right. But you can also reach out with a text, with a message.
And stay connected.
Yep. And we do a Zoom, which is great. And sometimes we've done the Zoom with a cuppa. Yep. And that's great as well.
Going back to the cuppas after exercise via Zoom and connecting with the other members of the group, how important do you think that is to everybody?
Yeah, really important, because I think at this time when, we haven't been able to be around people and, be able to see people, especially elderly, we have a lovely lady, Bev, and I met her a couple of times, but she's done great, and to see her doing the exercises at home, and it's been great to connect with Bev and see how she's going and support her as well, because with elderly, they're probably not out about as much as, the younger generation. So it's very important, that we are able to stay connected, and through the bounce back from breast cancer, it's been awesome. Yeah.
And that's also given you the confidence too to go and try other exercise groups.
Yes. Yeah, it does. But in saying that, you can try other exercise groups, but which we all, sometimes it'll come up on Facebook and you think, oh, I'll give that a go. But it's hard because you don't know whether you're doing that the right way. So you can try other groups, but in this group, for me, is that I'm going to get the support that I need, and I'm going to get, I'm going to contact you and say, hey, today my arm's really tight. What do you think I should be doing? So that's the part I like, of that. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what I do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it shows through. It shows through. I mean, sometimes you're not thinking, and sometimes I could reach out at, 5 o'clock in the afternoon when you've got your life, or on a Saturday or Sunday, and say, hey, this is happening today. And, you're straight back with a message, or Kath straight back with a message. And that's, that's awesome, because some days it can be a bit tough, and you just think, oh, that's, that feels a little bit different, or, and you aren't confident in knowing the answer. So, yeah. That's a great thing.
Going back to your hairdressing skill,
yes,
and talking about women that are hanging on to their hair, you had a bit of advice with regards to stimulating that growth.
Yes, yeah. So I did a bit of research on all different things. Obviously, going back to work, I didn't want to be around a lot of toxic, what do we say? Shampoos, conditioners, products. Yeah. So I did a lot of research on what I wanted. So obviously I've gone organic in my salon now, because or as organic as I can, because I don't want to be breathing it in and also having it on my body. But I really found that when I was trying to get the growth back into my hair, I was using a peppermint-based shampoo, so that it stimulated the scalp, so that peppermint stimulates the scalp, so therefore it creates growth. And I mean, I can only go through my experience, but I used and I washed my hair, even though I was baldy, I still washed my head every day, because I think that and I did it with the peppermint. I think stimulating that the scalp was one of the biggest things, and I've got thicker, and then
your hair looks great.
Thick in the head than I've ever been. So so that, I mean, that's my advice, and I just think but be careful a little bit too, because our skin's a little bit sensitive. So to start off with, I used to just mix it in with a shampoo, and then as I got used to it, then I went the full thing. So and I think that's important, because stimulating the scalp is one of the biggest things for regrowth. So that's been great.
And if there was one thing that you could give advice for friends or family of someone who's just been diagnosed and going through treatment, something not to say?
Well, there's probably been a few things that have been, thrown at me with the hair, and, breast cancer's the best cancer to get. That was another one. I don't think because somebody hasn't had treatment or, gone down, had chemo or radiation, if all they've needed is surgery, it is still, that word is still there in their mind. So I think if you can, always think about, what you're going to say before you say it.
Yep.
I remember when I first went back to work, and a lady said, your hair is disgusting compared to what it used to be. And I remember just looking at her, and I just couldn't believe. And I said, well, you know that I've been through cancer. And she said, yeah, but, you had beautiful hair before that. You need to get it back to where it was. You try. You're doing your best. But maybe you're never going to go back there. Maybe you're never going to be, back to what it was.
Yep.
Maybe you needed these changes to move forward and do different things. And for me, that's where I've gone with it. I'm not the same person, and I'm not going to pretend to be the old me.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people have seen that shift in me. And some people have liked it and some people haven't. But for me now, I have to do what's right for me because it wasn't working before. The old me wasn't working.
Yep.
You know, so, but that's my belief. And so I think that I need, you know, you have to take that on board. And, you know, I've had lots of I go through cancer. And my biggest thing with all of this is awareness. Awareness is huge. Back, I had one of my best friends got cervical cancer and died at 42. And, you know, we were friends for 10 years and we never had the conversation. Have you had your breast checked? Have you had your pap smear? Talked about everything else.
And that should be, you know, it should be in a conversation.
Yeah, it should be in a conversation that, you know, and I think too a lot when I decided to pop my new look on Facebook, although confronting for a lot of people, it wasn't about I needed to be told I was beautiful and all that. It was for people to realise that I was in Bali having a great holiday and enjoying myself. And 3 weeks later, I was diagnosed with this and now going through this. Then I had so many people on my page, you know, of course, tell me how nice I looked, but they'd gone and got breast screening. And some people hadn't had breast screening for 20 years. You know, one lady said to me, Liza, I haven't had breast screening for 12 years. You know, it hurts. Mammograms hurt, you know. And I just looked at her and I said, you know what hurts? When you got to tell your kids you got cancer. That hurts, you know. A mammogram's 5 minutes, 5 minutes of your day. And yes, it does hurt. I understand it. It's uncomfortable. But uncomfortable is so much more when you've been diagnosed with cancer. You know, and early detection saves lives. So
that's a powerful message. And if anyone listening to our conversation today,
go and get them checked.
Get your boobs checked.
Yeah, even in this time.
And if you know you've listened to this conversation, tell your mum to get boobs checked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell your friend to get their boobs checked.
You know, even you know, I've got 3 males in the house. You know, I say to them, check them.
Yeah.
Check your breasts, you know, have that conversation with you. I know it's awkward, but have it with your mother, your sister, you know, your family, and, you know, your clients, because you will be surprised of how many people come back and say to you, oh, God, I haven't been tested for ages. You know, oh, no, it's uncomfortable. Oh, no, I haven't felt it. I didn't feel it. I can't feel anything. Well, I've got an A- breast and I've had no boobs all my life. And I didn't feel my lump either, you know, and it was almost 5 centimetres by the time, you know, and I'd only had a mammogram and ultrasound 12 months before because I go every 12 months because of what I've had previously. And even though the mammogram and the ultrasound showed what I had, I then had to have an MRI, which is another step they take when you've been diagnosed. And the MRI showed that I had 4 in the right breast and 1 in the left breast. So I was operated on both breasts, but only 1 tumour. So, you know, had I have not had that MRI, you know, and you know, MRIs are expensive.
Yep.
You get absolutely nothing back on Medicare, you know, and one day I'd love to see that, you know, it's on that you can get money back on it, because I think it's so important, because the MRI does show up.
Extra next level.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to have the MRI. I don't have mammograms now, but I have MRIs and ultrasounds, and, you know, possibly the MRI probably could have saved my life, because in the left breast, it could have turned. So therefore she took that out. But, you know, it wasn't in my family. My mother, my grandmother, you know, my sister. No, it's not in my family. It's not genetic. I'm the 1 in 7 or 8 that they talk about, you know. So, yeah, get them checked.
Liza, thank you so much.
That's okay.
For
no worries.
joining me.
It's been great being able to, you know, speak out, and hopefully, you know, if you watch this, you go and get checked. So go get them checked, you know, go and have your breast checked. Check them yourself every month, and then go for your mammogram and ultrasound. 2 years if that's where you're at, 12 months if, you know. And don't be frightened to tell your doctor what you want. You know, it's your body. You know, if they say, oh, no, you don't really need that, you say, hang on a minute, I want it, and, you know, and get them checked. Yeah.
Great advice.
Thank you.
Great advice. And we are so appreciative of you joining me here on the desk.
Thank you.
You are our expert in thrivorship.
Thank you.
And thank you for being so open and frank and honest, and I honestly believe it's going to help, you know, so many people listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you're at home and you see this, join Bounce Back from Breast Cancer. You won't be disappointed because the team here is amazing, and you will get everything you need, and even just the support. Even if you join and don't do an exercise, the support is amazing. So, yeah, thanks so much, girls.
Oh, pleasure.
Thanks, Amy.